Hey, what's going on guys? VCQ here. Today I'll be comparing the YJ Yulong V2M and then the YJ MGC V1. Both of these are budget cubes by YJ. Both are also magnetic, as you can tell. And they're both pretty cheap, I would say. Their performance is actually pretty decent, so I thought it would be worth comparing, as this is quite a new cube and I'd probably want to be compared to this, as this was hyped up quite a lot but didn't really live up to what it was hyped up to be. Yeah, let's just get into it. So first thing is the price category. So the Yulong V2M is $7.99 and the MGC V1 is $14.99. With the Yulong V2M you get nothing. The box is quite nice, but you don't get any other accessories. With the MGC V1, you get an extra set of magnets, and you also get 2 extra sets of springs. So that just gives you more of a customizability option. So I think that the $7 more is quite worth it on this, considering you can, if magnets do possibly fall out, which they haven't for me so far, and I've had this for quite a while, then you can change them. And also if you think that the turning isn't exactly how you like it, you can just change it because of the springs. So it's similar to GTS 3s or GAN cubes with the spring compression system, as you can just change the springs, but it's just more work and it's harder. Whereas with this you can't really do it, and the only other option you can get is to buy a new cube, and that would be another $20 anyway. So that's why I think that the MGC V1 is better. But here's what I put on my table. So the MGC V1 on the right and the Yulong V2M on the left. If you're wondering why they're 3 and 4 stars, it's also due to some of these other categories, which I'll get into later. So let's just get back into this, and let's just go on to size, which is the next category. The MGC V1 is 55.5 millimeters across, and the Yulong V2M is 56 millimeters. This all comes down to personal preference, really. It depends on whether you like smaller cubes or bigger cubes. Well, it's not a huge difference, but this is 56 millimeters used to be kind of the standard size of cubes, but recently cubes have been catching up to being 55.5 millimeters. Examples being the Volk, the GES2, and etc. And there's also been other cubes which have even been smaller, such as the 354M by GAN. So this is kind of a personal preference factor. Personally, I prefer 56mm nozzles because I feel like there's more surface area to each piece, so I won't miss a turn or mess up. So let me just show that on my table. Alright, there we go. So 5 for the Yulong and 4 for the MGC. Next we'll just move on to corner kiting. I say first we can just test this one out. I'm just going to go into some zoom here. Okay, there we go. And so here's 45 degrees for the Yulong V2M, and it's a pretty smooth cut. If we go any further, it will still do it. And surprisingly, it cuts quite a lot. So here's reverse. Here it won't do it, but I'm sure if you go a little bit further back it will. And forward is very good. For the MGC, however, 45 degrees is a bit harder. It takes a bit more effort, especially here. It just doesn't want to do it. And the corner cutting takes much more effort, so about here, where you try it, the reverse corner cutting is kind of lacking on the MGC. That's the one corner cutting that it doesn't have that well. And where it does cut, it still takes more force. So that's why I think the corner cutting on the Yulong V2M is better. So let me just display that on my table. And there we go. So the reason they're 4 stars and 3 stars is because there's also cubes now that are exceeding, like the GAN X, which just almost corner cuts everything. so that's why they aren't really at the top, but they're still good when it comes to corner cutting. Now coming on to speed, this is lubed with compound 10 and silk, showing that out of the box it was quite quick, it was very quick. However, this is only lubed with silk because I didn't think it needed the compound 10 out of the box, so let's just show some terms. It's still quite a quick cube, considering I lubed it with compound 10 as well. Whereas the MGC is a slower puzzle and has been lacking in speed, and I think I'm not the only one who's really thought this. I think JR Kiba has also mentioned this in a video, that the MGC is quite slow, and I feel like due to this you mess up your turns, and the speed on the Yulong V2M is better. So that's why for speed I'm going to give the slight edge to the Yulong V2M. And there we go. Now, last but certainly not least, we're going to have to move on to control. Control is one of the main factors of a 3x3 that you have to think about. Control and feel. So control is obviously being able to control the cube, and if you can't control the cube, well, it's not really going to be good for you. So onto control, the Yulong V2M has quite good control, but it can corner twist like this sometimes. However, with the MGC it doesn't really get many corner twists. Like, you can try, even though it does have this, it doesn't have that squared off design, but due to the corner stocks it doesn't corner twist much. However, I have found corner twists on the Yulong V2M to be not really frequent, but they can come up. And also the speed of this can sometimes just become uncontrollable, whereas with this, the speed of it can be too slow where it can be uncontrollable. So I think due to the corner twisting as well, I'm gonna... wait, this does have less of a corner twisting problem, but this has better corner cutting, and then their speed can both in a way be uncontrollable. So I think I'm gonna have to give them an equal for control. And lastly, there it is. That's control. So alright guys, that was just my budget 3x3 comparison between the Yulong V2M and the MGC V1. Links to both cubes will be down in the description if you want to get them. And you could try out this comparison, or try both cubes yourself if you want. Yeah, hope you guys liked the video. Thanks for watching guys. Bye.